I am live. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. How are we feeling today? Cheers. Taking a moment for a hydration checkpoint. Come on, camera. Focus on me. Thank you. Alrighty. As always, I'm going to take a few minutes at the beginning of the report to navigate to the Witchy Weather Report on Facebook and just make sure that I don't get any spammers by making it so that controlling who can comment and where. So let's see. I'm getting better and better at this. Fewer and fewer confused clicks every time I do it. How are you feeling today? Hey, Mary Jane. Hey, Ondine. Good meowing. Good meowing. You guys make me so happy. Okay. All right, here we are on the Witchy Weather Report. My name is Rory Kelly. I am a tarot reader, podcaster, singer-songwriter, and all-around personal growth nerd. I go live the last weekend of every month. Sometimes it's a Sunday, sometimes it's a Saturday. I used to say always Saturday, and I've noticed that it really does change depending on my schedule and what's functional for me. So now I just say the last weekend of the month, and you'll know, because I'll post about it, when I'll go live. At 11 a.m. Eastern Time to read tarot cards. I always pull a card of the month, and if you would like a card, I recommend showing up early so that I can get to you and make sure to pull a card for you. Just sharing in a couple places. If you are tuned in, especially on the Facebooks, I would love it if you would throw a share, because I've noticed Facebook sometimes tells people, sometimes doesn't. There, I think that's sufficient sharing. I'm just getting going this morning. Let me ask you my patented 3 questions. Do we have people tuned in and commenting yet? Let's find out. Got a couple comments on there. Got some humans. Good meowing. Hey, Judith. Hey, Melissa. My fabulous tarot sidekicks through many, many adventures at this current moment in time. All right, I'm reading today with the Tarot of the Cloisters. Oh, not good vibes on Instagram. I'm so sorry, guys. Mary Jane feeling rough but hydrating. Ondine not feeling great. I saw you post, I saw your comment in Fire Starters. I'm so sorry. I really hope you feel better. I'm sending feel better vibes at you both. Everyone, please feel free to send feel better vibes at Mary Jane and Ondine. As always, I will let you know the rules of the road for the Witchy Weather Report. I do 1 card readings for as many people as I can get to in 1 hour. We have a hard stop at 12. I will also pull a 1 card for everybody in just a couple minutes. I want to let everyone get tuned in before I do that. If you are tuned in on Facebook and it's from a share, make sure you go to the original video so I can see your comment. So if you're looking at a share, just like click through to get to that original video, so it's like the big Facebook video, you know, the one that takes up your screen, so that when you're commenting, I can see your comments and not miss you. Because sometimes something is like shared to a group or something and people comment on the post in the group and then I can't see it and I don't get to pull your card, and that's heartbreaking. I want to pull your card for you. If you would like a card, here is the secret code we use. Hello, Arcane Spark. Welcome to the broadcast. How you doing? If you would like a card, the secret code we use is to drop a cat in the chat or write the word meow. And we use this secret code because I have noticed that scammers are very drawn to the words. It's like catnip to them. They're drawn to the words tarot, and they're drawn to words like pull a card or do a reading for me. It's like they must have searches going on for that. So we just drop a cat in the chat. we put a cat emoji or write the word meow. That lets me know that you want a card and does not attract too many spammers. I'm on a constant campaign. Any tarot reader on social media these days will tell you that like there's a constant campaign against spammers and scammers. I will also let you know, if you would like to buy a reading from me, I will never tell you to DM me. I will never tell you to DM me, and I will never say like PayPal me money. Instead, I will refer you to my Etsy shop. That's where you can buy a reading from me. A couple of you are longtime clients and friends, and you know the difference between me and a scammer, and we've done kind of like, you know, just casual readings that way. But mostly, if you're seeing this, if you're interested in getting a reading, my Etsy shop's the only place to get them because there's too many scammers saying, DM me for reading, who impersonate readers online. And I guess maybe it's a compliment to have a big enough account that people want to impersonate me, but it's not great. So make sure if you want to order a full reading that you're going to the Etsy shop. Hey Celia, welcome, welcome. Anyway, so please feel free if you haven't already. I see a few cats in the chat. If you would like a reading, drop a cat in the chat, drop a cat emoji, or write the word meow. I'm reading today with the Tarot of the Cloisters. I'm also going to do a little pause around 11:30 today to tell you about a tarot course I am offering called Keys to the Kingdom. I will share more about that in a little bit because I want to jump right into the readings. But if you're interested, I'm really excited. A couple people who are signed up are here in the comments. I can't wait for this. Okay, shuffling time. Got those good shuffling noises. So a thing I noticed, because this is who I am as a person, is that when you shuffle always face side down of your tarot cards, that they tend to get like a bend in them. And so I actually have a habit of shuffling face side up a couple times and then shuffling face side down for the final one. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. It's just a thing because I don't want my tarot cards. Have you ever seen like an old deck of cards that's like really bent, you know, from constant shuffling? And I do like the, I don't know, the poker shuffle or whatever. Not a fancy one. I just do like this thing, that thing. So yeah, I shuffle upside down the first few times, and then the final time I shuffle right side upsies. Tarot tips from Rory this morning. Round is even harder to shuffle. You know, it's all about the size. There are some decks that are a little too big to shuffle comfortably for my hands. And not to be like a little bit sexist, but I've noticed that I think more women than men are drawn to the tarot, and they should think about that when they're making a deck. Whether it'll fit in our little hands. Again, not to be sexist or anything. I'm sure there's plenty of big-handed people also reading tarot cards. I just sometimes like I have a couple of rectangular decks that are big and beautiful, but I'm like, oh, how am I gonna get around this thing? Decks are huge. I can't decide if my jumper card is honest or just me having small hands. Yeah, big mood, big mood. Good morning, meow. Hey, Anna. Celia, let me know if you'd like a card. How you doing? Okay, loves, here is our card collectively for the coming weeks. We have the Hermit. And if you notice the way the Hermit is facing, it's interesting because it's facing almost forwards if you were reading a book. So this is how I read these round cards. Some people read with reversals and some people don't. And when you have round cards, it's like everything is all topsy-turvy. For the first many years I read with this deck, can you tell I'm in tarot teacher mode? Because I just sought a workshop and going into a course. For the first many years I read with this deck, I would just be like, I can't even think about reversals. It's too complicated. Every card's upright. Unless it looks obviously reversed. And now I love taking a look at which way it's pointing and considering the context of that in my reading. So we see the Hermit, and we also see that it's pointing forward. In order, therefore, my friends, for us to move forward that in this time, we need to be deeply grounded in ourself and our inner wisdom. We need to have a mix of sitting with ourselves and putting ourselves out there, and our actions, our choices when we put ourselves out there, meaning when we do something social, when we try to share or promote about something we're doing, when we try to seek new friendships or try to seek new opportunities for ourselves, when we put ourselves out there, those actions have to be very deliberate and only after we have spent time with ourselves. Because the hermit is about our inner wisdom. The hermit suggests that we look for light in the darkness from within rather than without. We are meant to sit with ourselves at this time. We are the generators of the light that we need in our lives. We should not be looking for it externally. However, once we sit with ourselves and we find it, any actions we do take in the external world, because life is a mix, right? You can't just like, unless, I don't know, you're like a really like rich billionaire weirdo, you can't just like hole up in a cave forever, much as I know many of us would like to. Right? We do have to interact with the real world. When we interact with it, we should make sure that we have sat with ourselves first, so that the me we are bringing to the real world is the me that has sat with themselves and accessed their own guidance and accessed their inner light. When we put ourselves out there, we want to be in our peace, in our calm, in our wisdom to the greatest extent possible. So this means more time inwards, less time outwards. There's this great quote, I have so many things to do today that I must spend 2 hours meditating instead of 1. That's the idea. We must spend our inward time. If we find ourselves getting busy, if we find ourselves putting ourselves out there in the external world more, we have to spend even more time with ourselves going forward, so that the us we bring to the outer world is authentic and not reactive. Okay? Okay. That's for everybody. That's for everybody. Everybody needs some me time right now. Does the cave have a hot tub? That's a very good question. I think it's obvious that any cave worth its salt, maybe it's a salt cave, should have a hot tub, in my personal opinion. Hermit has been my whole identity for weeks now, and I am feeling called for action after much cave holding. That's fair. That's fair. Cheers, everybody. Hydration checkpoint. I'm about to ask our standard 3 questions, and I'm going to get into readings. If you are watching this, please feel free to share on the social medias. Please feel free to give this a share so other people can join in the broadcast. Good morning. Hey, Savannah, how are you? Let me know if you'd like a card. Or a salt float tank. Yes, I did also see your comment, Ondine, about a salt float tank, and I'm like, ooh, salty. I'm already quite salty. All right, standard 3 questions. Question number 1. Where are you tuned in from? I am broadcasting from my feminist fairy cave today. I've got my self-care succulents behind me. And standard question number 2, what you sipping on? I am sipping on filtered water from my dinosaur glass. Can you see the dinosaur? Hang on. I just want, yeah, look at that great dinosaur on there. Come on, that's amazing. My husband gave me this glass for my birthday like years ago at this point, and it is my favorite glass. Question number 3, how are we feeling today? I want the real answer, not the polite answer. We show up for each other, we hold space, and we're vulnerable on my broadcast. This is a safe space. How are we feeling today? I will share that I am feeling good. I went into this weekend feeling a little overwhelmed, and I am in it now, and I am feeling, I don't know, more whelmed. I also just hennaed my hair last night, and I feel like it came out really nice, including like the wavies, and I'm like, ooh. So I'm just, you know how like anyone else with like wavy or curly hair like can relate probably to like, what's gonna happen when this dries? It's a mystery. So when it comes out nice, I'm like, woo! That's how I'm feeling today. Maybe that's a little bit of a superficial feeling, but that's the vibe this morning. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. Thank you. Tuned in from Long Island. Have not drank anything yet. Hydration checkpoint, Melissa. Good. Feeling really nice and at peace again because lots of hermit energy. Yeah, it's amazing how hermit energy will do that. I'm a hermit. I've always been a hermit. Big mood. In the computer craft room, sitting on a heating pad. Ooh, heating pad. Cozy. I hope it's not because you're not feeling well, though. If so, feel better vibes. Sipping water, feeling awake. Savannah throwing those wave emojis in there. Thanks, Savannah. Aw, thank you. Y'all making me feel good about my hair. Oh, sciatica. I'm so sorry. I'm sciatica sorry. That's awful. Sciatica is not a fun time. I hope it improves. Aw, you guys. Drinking spring water in Huntington, New York, feeling restless and impatient, but also exhausted. Big mood. Let's get to the readings. All right, our card, if you missed it for the day, for everybody, this is for the coming weeks, is the Hermit. We want to sit with ourselves. We want to seek the light within before going out there into the outside world. Once we're out there into the outside world, it's harder to seek the light within. So we want to do it beforehand. So when we show up out there, because we all largely have to some extent or another, when we show up out there, it's authentic. Hi, Nevi. How are you? Dropping a cat in the chat. All right, I'm going to start with the Instagrams. Then I'm going to move over to everybody else. If you have dropped a cat in the chat, don't worry. Your reading is on the way. First, we have, let's see, was it Mary Jane or Ondine first? It's always like a stressor when I start scrolling on Instagram because anything could happen. All right, we got Mary Jane first, then Ondine. If you're not a regular, because if you're a regular, you know this. If you have a particular question you want, feel free to just type it in there after your cat or around your cat so that I know and I will apply that question. Otherwise, I'm just giving you like a hey, what's up, universe? What's up for the next coming weeks kind of card. Okay, Mary Jane, pulling a card for you. Do 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 do. Mary Jane, your card is the Nine of Vessels, and let's look at how that's also pointing kind of forward. So right now, self-gratitude is an important practice for you. Not just for the practical stuff, but like anything that is about self-love. And I always approach that term with caution because I know many people struggle with self-love because also we live in a capitalist patriarchy society that preys on low self-esteem and tries to encourage it so it can sell us things. And it's hard sometimes for us to access a feeling of self-love. So I'm going to say, if that's challenging for you, self-friendship is what I recommend. How can we be deeply kind to ourselves? How can we be a friend to ourselves the way we would befriend someone that we care about, or befriend, I don't know, a random child who came up to us and needed the help of an adult, or befriend a kitten that we found crying on our porch, right? How can we be a friend to ourselves? And the Nine of Vessels indicates that it's time for you to like make a gratitude list to yourself, honor yourself, be proud of yourself, look back on work you have done, especially if you've done any kind of like trauma reprocessing work or like self work to help you not self-sabotage, allowed yourself to be bigger, created creative legacy for yourself by putting creative work out into the world publicly. It's time to really honor that in yourself, to be proud of yourself, to look back and see how far you've come and appreciate that within yourself. As you move forward in this time, you should be moving forward in a sense of self-appreciation. And I remind you, self-appreciation is not the same as self-aggrandization. It's not a negative thing. It's a good thing to appreciate ourselves because we teach everyone around us how to treat us. So if you appreciate yourself, you teach people to treat you with appreciation rather than like just dumping on you or treating you badly. Okay? Okay. Next up we have Ondine. After that we have Arcane Spark. Then I'm going to, then we got Nevi, and then I'm going to move over to the other side, to the other social media, because I'm on two devices right now. That's just for my brain. Don't worry, you're all getting your cards. Also, it's Sunday. You can't fool me. It is Sunday. What did I say? What? Did I say Saturday and mean Sunday? It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. All right, Ondine, then Arcane Spark, then Nevi. That's who's coming up next. And then all y'all, I'm like gesturing at the device as if you know that I'm pointing at you. It just looks like I'm generally pointing. I've been broadcasting for years. This is who I am as a person. Zoe, is that you? Hello, welcome. If you'd like a cat, the way to get a reading is to drop a cat emoji. If you like a cat, if you like a card, drop a cat emoji in the chat or write the word meow. If you'd like a cat, I recommend going down to your local shelter. There's lots of cats there and they could use a home. Ondine, your card is the Ace of Staves, and you can see it's a little bit feeling reversey. I want to share with you that the Ace of Staves is usually about epiphany and personal power and creativity and creation, ambition, leaving our mark on the world. You have a lot of that power right now, and it's almost as though you're not, there's a disconnect in you being able to access it. There's a feeling of, rather than like putting yourself out there, that's turned inward and not always in a healthy way. The Ace of Staves means sometimes, like in reverse like this, is like maybe not heeding the call, or not having a sense of your own power. I know there's also a lot going on for you that may preclude you from focusing on creative activities and stuff like that, leaving your mark on the world in that way. But I want to say that energy is available to you now. And I don't want to say it's use it or lose it, because that sounds a little pressuresome, but I want to say that like you have a lot of creative potential right now and a lot of power potential. Staves in particular are about influence and charisma. You actually have the ability to influence and be charismatic towards people right now, and you may be subconsciously using that because you're not conscious of how much power you actually do have, how much influence you actually do have. It may be that the world has trained you a little bit to assume that you don't, and so you look for evidence of that rather than looking for evidence that your words are having, that your words are landing, that your words and actions are inspiring and affecting other people. So I'm going to ask you in the coming weeks, can you look for evidence that your words are landing? Can you look for evidence that your actions are having an impact? I'm not asking you to do anything crazy or believe anything crazy, just like maybe keep a log, like look for evidence that your actions and words are having impact. And also just ask yourself, if I believed that my words would be taken to heart, what would I say? And that may be a really helpful thing to go into different conversations with, allowing you to kind of turn that Ace of Staves upright, to turn that energy, because you do have an influential energy. So kind of like to actively grab hold of it rather than passively using it kind of accidentally. You do have the power right now, even if it doesn't feel like it. Okay, okay. All right, next up we have Arcane Spark, pulling a card for you. Then Navy, then I'm moving over to everyone on all the not Instagram platforms. I will get to you right after that, just because I kind of do Instagram in a clump for my brain, because it's too many things to scroll. Arcane Spark, we have the King of Pentacles. Again, we have a reversal here, indicating, again, maybe there's a theme coming through for this. There's a sense of needing to claim power, to claim your sovereignty around your basic stability. So pentacles are ruled by earth, and they refer to our money, our health, our personal, like close relationships, what we consider to be our immediate family, which may be chosen family as well, not necessarily just blood relatives, but like the people we see and interact with and care about every day, those core relationships, our home, our day-to-day habits. There's a sense of, again, leading without intention. That's what's going on right now. And you may not be reading often when we have things like kings in reverse. What happens is, though you have the power, you feel disempowered. And leadership from a leader that doesn't feel empowered, that feels they're not leading, often is tainted by resentment, often is tainted by like an inappropriate level of pushing, because if we feel like we're not getting through, if we feel like we're not having an impact, we just push harder, right? You don't have to push harder right now. What you have to do is realize that you have more influence than you believe you do. So it may be wise now to take a step back. Today, it's like a crash course in reversals today, y'all. My tarot students, pay attention. It may be wise to take a step back. It may be wise to ask yourself, what's working and what's not working in these core stability areas of my life? What feels good, what's not feeling so good, and what small adjustment can I make to get myself back on course? Because the King of Pentacles knows that small adjustments over time are what builds stability, right? If you're steering a ship, and you go like this, the ship goes like crazy, right? Like you got a huge turn, and then you can like take a wave on the side, and it really destabilizes the boat. If you're steering a ship and you're just constantly doing this, making these tiny adjustments, then what happens is you have the overall stability and things are moving in the direction you want to go. So remind yourself that you have more power than you believe over your own personal stability, over your money, over your health, over your home. and then make a small adjustment, maybe once per day. Check in, what's out of whack, what's in whack, what small adjustment can I make? And that is how to get yourself back on course, because you have much more power than you realize. Okay, okay. All right, next up, Nevi, and then I'll head over for more readings. But first, a hydration checkpoint. Hang on. Oh no, what am I doing? I think I have mixed up my cards, y'all. I've done it. I've got some cards that are facing the wrong way. Let me clean up my cards. What have I done? Hydration checkpoint while I've managed this. Look what I have. I have this card facing like, it's like, uh-oh, which way is up? I turned some things over in a way that is not useful. Okay, got that. That's the thing that happens to me. And a lot of people get reversals this way. I get reversals this way because I don't deliberately shuffle them in, where I will just kind of like be doing, usually when I'm doing something like this, or a party where I'm doing one reading after another, and I end up with either cards facing incongruently or a bunch of reversals. And I kind of, if it's reversals, I just let it happen. I'm like, well, it's meant to be. But when it's like incongruently, I'm like, no, must clean up deck. Okay. I still got one facing the wrong way. Listen, you silly geese. Obviously, I've been shuffling a little out of whack for a while now. What is happening? It's like nothing. I don't think Mercury or anything is in the microwave right now. I think it's just me. I think I'm in the microwave, you guys. Greetings from the microwave. Just making sure. Just doing a checky. I think now we're good. Mix magic. That's a nice way of saying get your cards together, Rory. You're very welcome. Got a couple thank yous in the Instagram. You called it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're quite welcome. It seems to me like there is a theme that is emerging of perhaps feeling disempowered when we're actually not. Because, you know, sometimes life is like that. If life has trained us to feel disempowered, which gosh, over the last few years, ooh, it can be hard to remember that we have power in our lives. And that's what we're meant to do right now. And that's, I think, why the Hermit is our card for anyone who's joined more recently. It's good to turn inward at this time. It's good to connect with our inner wisdom. That will point us in the right direction. Let's not make choices out of reactivity and anxiety. Nevi, here's your card. We have the Four of Pentacles. Now is a good time to focus on your resources, money, health, household. It's a good thing. It's a good time to have these things in hand. So when I say that, what I mean is spend a little extra time, maybe in the morning or maybe in the evening, whenever is functional for you, to just kind of take stock. And similar to what I was saying to Arcane Spark, what we want to consider is how is our money doing right now? What's the state of the union in my house right now, like in my home? And what's the state of the union with my family, my immediate family? You know, like what's going on under this roof? What's out of whack? What's in whack? And then just like take a couple minutes to make adjustments. This is a time that greater focus is needed. You may want to focus a little extra on your finances. You may want to focus a little extra also on your energy, on your physical health and the physical health of those around you. I know that your family has been kind of going through it with catching the illnesses this school year. This is a time to devote a little extra energy just towards getting that basic stability, just towards focusing on the basics, because we can't go anywhere if we don't have the basics. So if the basics are taken care of, we can fly. If the basics are out of whack, everything sucks. So focus on the basics right now. Focus especially on money, health, energy. That's where it's at right now. And it's not just about you bringing the right energy, you know, which is helpful. It's about like kind of looking at the energy of the house around you, looking at the energy of your family, and asking yourself, how can we work a little more protectively of each other? How can we be a little kinder to each other? How can we start conversations with a little bit of protection for the family in our heart? That's kind of the energy. Okay? Okay. All right. Microwave, an itty bitty wave, like I'll follow you into the microwave by Death Cab for Cutie. All right, let's see who's next on deck. We have Melissa. We have Judith. I don't see a cat from you, Celia, but if you want a card, let me know. We have Anna. Um, Same, Savannah. I don't see a cat, but I will pull a cat for you. I don't think I had any requests from my patrons this time around, but let me take a look-see and make sure too. All right, so Melissa, Judith, Anna, coming on up. And actually, I'm going to pull a card for Melissa, and then I am going to tell you a little bit about Keys to the Kingdom, which is a tarot course that I'm offering because it's 11:30, in case you are interested in joining. I promise I will be brief, but I just want to let everyone know about it because I've let people know who took my tarot workshop this past weekend. Other people have been asking me about teaching a tarot course, and I'm doing it, so I'm trying to share the thing. But first, Melissa's card. Hey, Patty Bell. Okay, Melissa, your card. Your question is, what area should I focus on this coming month? Health, finance, spirituality, something else. Obviously, a little of everything is ideal, but balance is hard, and one always has more than the other. Yes, you know my feelings about that. Like, we don't have to be in magical, perfect balance all the time. I'm feeling brain bad about only focusing on my spirituality this month and not putting much effort into my business, but I feel emotionally great and have no regrets. I hear you about all of that. So let's pull a card. Your card, Melissa, is the Queen of Staves, which I'm not sure if that's your guide card but it's similar to your guide card, I believe. You've been getting a lot of staves the last few years. I just remember staves are wands, samey, fire. And again, we have a little bit of a reversal. There's this sense of where is your energy going? Because the Queen of Staves is very charismatic. I mean, honestly, a great card for you. The Queen of Staves is very charismatic, very influential, and driven by passion, right? It's not an empty, like, I'm a social media influencer and all I do is, it's like those people who are famous just for the sake of being famous. It's not like that. People are drawn to you because of your vision, because of your ideals, because of the energy you put into the community, because of the goals that you have, the way you focus on art, the way you focus on building community around yourself. You have influence because of who you are as a person. People are drawn to that. People want to be a part of that. You also support causes and ideals that people also want to support, and supporting you gives them a path to act out their ideals, right? This is like the work that you do with Production Babes. It's the work that you do as a poet, and when you do your writing workshop, and when you do your like your creative hang night. These are the reasons that people are drawn to you, because them being drawn to your journey and supporting your journey inherently supports them. You're giving them an opportunity to grow by involving themselves with you. That's why you're so influential and charismatic, whether you know it or not. And I suggest, since the way the Queen of Staves is pointing is kind of downwards into the dirt, maybe you don't know it. Maybe you don't know how much influence and charisma you have, or maybe you have some shame or fear around being visible. But I'm here to tell you, you have a big impact, and it's largely positive. You're making an impact with your passions. You're making an impact with your choice to be transparent about how you live your life. And so modeling that for other people and modeling your own healing journey for other people to have their own. So I suggest to you, turn this Queen of Staves around and do it on purpose. So maybe your focus isn't any one of these categories, right, that you've listed, like my spiritual life, my work life. Maybe your focus is intentionally being visible about your values. And I know you're transparent about your values, and I would ask you, what would it look like to on purpose wake up and say, my words have an impact? That's becoming a question of the day. My words have an impact and my actions have an impact. Knowing that, what will I do? Knowing that, how will I use this power? That is my question. That is the tarot cards question for you. Maybe that can be a meditation point for you over the coming month. And remember, our general card for everyone for the month is the Hermit. You access this power best when you are spending that time to connect with yourself and find your inner wisdom, and then putting yourself out there, right? When you're putting yourself out there so much that life becomes a slog and we enter swamp creature mode and we're reactive, then we can't access this charismatic, influential part of ourselves. We're just kind of getting through. We're still probably being charismatic and influential, but it doesn't feel good. So spend the time with yourself. Consider, I have influence. What does it, therefore, I have influence. Assume that's a given. Play that as a like a thought game this month, you know? Like, okay, if I assume I have influence and I have power to, kind of change the way people think, influence people's actions, how will I use that today? Because you do. All right, I've got on deck Judith, Anna, and Patty Bell, and also Grayson. I'm going to sneak Grayson in there because I see that Grayson did get on the Discord and request a card. But first, I'm going to take a quick moment to tell you about the Keys to the Kingdom tarot course. So if you've ever wanted to learn the tarot, if especially a lot of the people who are signed up for this course have been like dabblers, like they have some tarot decks, they're excited about it, but either have on and off tried to give themselves readings, like, kind of throwing some cards, looking up definitions in the book, or have felt overwhelmed by it. Or some people even said, like, I kind of felt like I got some good intuitive readings, but trying to study the tarot felt overwhelming, and I actually felt less connected. Like, I felt like I got worse. If you have been wanting to level up as a reader, or if you're curious about leveling up your intuition generally, Keys to the Kingdom tarot course might be for you. I just did a tarot workshop. It was 2 days. It was incredibly, incredibly rewarding and fun. Where I really kind of it was a quick start course. It was like, hey, if you would like to jump in and give yourself a reading right away, even if you have no experience, this is how to do so. And I try to teach that way because I don't think we learn best when we're like, here's a bunch of foundational stuff and no clue of how to use it. I think we learn best when we have the opportunity to practice what we're learning right away, to do the thing we're excited about, instead of like, well, maybe you'll get there in 6 months. I am a hands-on kind of teacher. So if you're interested in that, I'm doing an 8-week tarot course. It's called Keys to the Kingdom. It will teach you all the basics if you don't know the basics already. However, it is not a tarot 101. I've been thinking a lot about this because I've read a lot of books on the tarot, and a lot of books coming out are tarot 101 because I think that's what publishers like. you know but I don't want to just teach the same stuff you could learn literally anywhere. Instead, I've been reading for over 20 years and I'm teaching you the tools and techniques to help you access your intuition, help you find who you are as a reader, like not just learn the meanings of a card, but what is your voice? How does your intuition come through? And what are your special gifts and skills as a reader's? Like not everyone is the same when it comes to the tarot. It's an art as much as it is a thing to study. So this is a course that's about you, not about me regurgitating stuff you've heard 100 times before. It's about us working hand in hand to make you into the best reader you can be, and also to give you some real tools to help you get to your intuition when you're feeling stumped, when you're feeling emotional, when you're not sure if it's your intuition or just like the noise and stress of the day, when you don't feel like you can access your intuition and you turn over a card and you're like, when you have that feeling. This is a toolbox to make it so that this can be a useful tool to you year round, and it won't just show up in your tarot practice, it'll show up everywhere. So if you are interested in that, if you're on Instagram, there's a link in my bio. So pop on the link in my bio, you'll see the link. And here, I'm just going to put it for everyone else, tinyurl.com, Keys to the Kingdom Tarot. All those words at once. I know that's a lot of words, but I think they're all spellable. Keys to the Kingdom Tarot, all one word. If you're interested, I would love to have you in the course. It's an 8-week course. It starts next week. And the replays are available forever and ever and ever. Amen. So if you miss a course, or if the class time isn't perfect for you and sometimes you don't get it, you'll get the replay within 24 hours. You still have access. There's a private Facebook group, which has already been started. A couple of you are in it. Hi, friends. So we can really study and work together. And the focus is about, yes, learning the basics, but also just learning about ourselves as readers, becoming the best reader we can be, tuning into our intuition, which will affect every area of our life, and building a toolbox. So if you're excited about that, tinyurl.com/keys to the kingdom tarot is where to go, or link in my bio. If you're on Instagram, that's it. That's my whole sales pitch. I'd love to see you there. I'm finding it so rewarding. And thank you also. I got some tarot students in the chat, and also dear friends. Melissa says, 2-day tarot workshop was amazing. I didn't know a single thing about tarot other than what you read for me. I'm amazed at how much I learned in 2 days, and the 8-week course is going to be unreal. You're teaching things you can't Google. You're showing people how to look within and express that. It's invaluable. Thank you. That is the point. Thank you for putting it into better words than me. I'm not teaching, like, yes, I'm teaching the meanings of the card. Yes, you'll come out knowing that, but what I'm teaching you is how to reach your own intuition. What I'm teaching you is how to find your own insights and how to be the best reader you can be. Not the stuff that you can Google, because you can always Google, like, whatever, what does the Ten of Wands mean? It means you're burnt out and stressed out, by the way, if you're Googling that. Rory is an amazing tarot teacher. Thank you, Patty Bell. All right, friends, that's it. That's my whole sales pitch. If you're interested, join. If it's not for you, that's also fine. But I'm trying to signal boost. I'm trying to put out what I am doing. Just make it visible. So let's get back to readings. Okay, so we have Melissa. Next up, we have Judith, then Anna. I also want to get Grayson in there. I don't see Grayson in the chat, so I'll just get to Grayson when I get to them. I see a question from Anna. I don't think I see a question from Judith, so I'm just pulling a card for you, Judith, and then Patty Bell after that. And Patty Bell, feel free if you have a question. Otherwise, I will just pull a focus card for the coming weeks for you. That's kind of my default. Judith, your card is the 7 of Staves, and it is also reversed. We're having big reversal energy today. A couple of people asked in the workshop, what about reversals? And I went off on a tangent, and I was like, oh, I have to do a whole class around this. Well, accidentally, we're doing reversal course today. 7 of Staves, let's look at it upright. Do we feel like everyone is pushing back on us? This feeling of like, I'm just doing my best, and everyone's like, have we ever had that feeling before? Raise your hand if you're like, I'm doing my best, and I feel like the universe is like, no. Or people around you being ornery for seemingly no reason. People around you pushing back on you when you're actually trying to be a nice person and trying to just like do you to the best of your ability, which is really all any of us can do, right? The 7 of Staves in reverse says that this is bigger than just the day-to-day pushback. Yes, it probably is happening. Yes, it probably is true. And I know you personally, and I know some of the things that have happened over the last few weeks, and I know you're getting some of this energy from the universe. I know that there's some energy from people around you, like just pushing on you for no reason, especially when you're just trying to do the right thing. When it's in reverse, though, it tells us that it's deeper and there's a lesson and we have an opportunity to learn the lesson or miss the lesson. Is there this intractable sense of, no matter what I do, I can't, like, it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? Like, is that a story you've been telling yourself? Is there this sense of like, well, what I do just doesn't matter, so why should I even try? Because I just get all this pushback. Because that story probably comes out of experiences you've had in the past. It's understandable, but it's continuing to hold you back. Like, it's making things harder, not easier for you. And I'm not here to like toxic positivity you. I'm not telling you like, just think positive and everything will go great. But I am saying it might be worth looking deeper. Is it possible that some of these experiences are actually tapping deeper wounds for you that are ready to heal? Is it possible that these are bringing up experiences you've had, not just the current experiences, but they're tapping on painful past experiences, and that's why it feels so big to you? And maybe if that's the case, often it's divine timing and it's because we're ready to heal. It's because we're ready to make some new choices and learn how to handle these situations in a way that is more loving and kind to ourselves. So where might you be ready to heal? Have past experiences been coming up that these current experiences are reminding you of? And can you give yourself some loving processing time around them? Maybe through art, maybe through conversations with friends. Can you show up for yourself around this rather than just living in frustration? That's my question for you. All right, next up I got Anna, then Patty Bell, and then I'm going to do Grayson, and I'll let Grayson know because I don't think, Grayson, if you're tuned in, say hi. But I don't think they're tuned in right now, so I'll just let them know what point in the broadcast their card was pulled. I know Anna had a particular question. Let me read it. Would it be more profitable to do craft shows instead of just online? I need to get out of debt. Big mood. I really, I deeply feel you on that. on a personal level and as like on a global level, everything is really hard right now for a lot of people. I saw someone make a post on Facebook and it was like, I don't know why people are so upset about the economy. Like inflation has gone down and it's like, well, inflation went up for a bunch of years in a row, really at high unprecedented rates, and wages have yet to come up. So we're still reeling over here, actually. Like we're still affected by that, even if it's leveled off or whatever. Like, everyone's just trying to like function right now, on the same income with higher expenses. So I really feel your pain. So would it be more profitable to just do craft shows instead of just online? Let's just pull a card about that. We have the High Priestess suggesting that you may already know in your heart the answer. And if you don't feel like you do, this is kind of reinforcing our card of the month, the Hermit, which is telling you to look within, look for your own guidance to these questions. I know that's a very frustrating answer to get when you literally go to a tarot reader to tell you an answer. But this is like a time for you to focus on what's right. The High Priestess also is connected to justice. You notice there's some similarities. We see the two columns, we see a scroll over here. So the High Priestess isn't just connected to spirituality, but a sense of justice. And the High Priestess is suggesting that you create justice for yourself. And in order to do that, you have to look within to do it. So reflection is needed. And reflection is needed beyond the practical. I think sometimes, especially when it comes to matters of money, the practical can feel so big that it's very difficult for us to get to the inside. Maybe too, because we're like being self-protective, right? Maybe because our subconscious is like, I can't look more deeply at this. It's too much. But I am going to invite you, one baby step at a time, to look within yourself and ask you what feels like it needs to happen for you, not just financially, but like emotionally, for your life to feel more sustainable. Because that's what we're getting at, right? Often when we're in debt, it's not just our money, right? It's an energy thing as well. There is an energy deficit that is happening. And that needs to be addressed as well. And so the High Priestess suggests that rather than make a decision right away, rather than jump to like, well, what's the next thing I can do? Which I got to tell you, I'm a recovering workaholic. And by the way, I don't throw that word around lightly. I mean it. Like I have a problem with workaholism and I'm working on that. And that's particularly challenging as a self-employed person. It's hard not to just be like, well, money will solve the problem. So what's the next 10 things I can do to put on my list to make the money, right? But sometimes we do need to like get still and listen to the quiet voice within. And doing so, I have seen, especially in the last few months on my recovery journey, that doing so, getting still and listening to the quiet voice within actually leads to better results than the kind of frantic sense of productivity that happens when we're just like, oh, I just have to solve this problem. What can I throw at it, right? So that is my non-advice to you, which is look within, get still, get quiet. Ask yourself what needs to happen. And I recommend not taking like 20 minutes to do this. I recommend even taking a few days to do this. Commit to yourself. Things aren't going to dramatically change from today to a few days from now. So I'm taking a few days to just show up for me and ask myself these questions in a loving way, to take the pressure off myself and kind of go into, like the cave of my heart, the crystal cave of my heart, the crystal cave within, and access how you really feel and access what your inner wisdom tells you about it. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Judith. Next up, we got Patty Bell. Then we got Grayson. Yeah. See that I've got another comment on Twitch, but it's just a spam comment, and I'm just going to ignore it. I will say the nice thing about Twitch spammers is they tend to be in and out. They usually just come on and like drop some promotional garbage and then leave. So it's like, okay, bye. Good to see you too. Patty Bell's question. Let me find it. Oh, see, and Melissa say, thank you for that. Highly aligns with the meeting I have today. Of course, of course. All right, Patty Bell's question. Here it is. What do I need to know to finish this book I am publishing? I'm so excited. First of all, can you please tell us about your book? Patty Bell, everybody, um, is an incredible she teaches design thinking. She also teaches she is a a hypnotherapist. That's the correct word. Licensed hypnotherapist, and helps you get in touch with yourself and heal blockages and stuff like that. Patty Bell is just like a wonderful spiritual blessing to be around as a human being, and every minute I spend with her, I just feel like I am gifted in doing so. Anyway, Patty Bell, please tell us about your book. I want to know. And I will ask the cards for you. What do I need to know to finish this book I am publishing? 10 of Vessels. Patty Bell, what you need to know is that this is a part of your legacy, and it's not just about you, it's about family. And whatever that means to you, this is about emotional legacy, not just like creating a tangible financial legacy, but creating the emotional legacy, modeling for your loved ones what it looks like to complete something that's meaningful for you, to be in your strength, to be in your power, and putting that out powerfully. This is something too that I think a lot of women are experiencing like now in time, and I think I'm one of them, and I think you're one of them, as like intergenerational curse breaking. There have been a lot of women whose voices have been stifled, perhaps not even by like an active person doing that, although sometimes yes, by like abuse and things like that, but just by the fact of being a woman in a culture that has put a lot on women and not and also been very silencing of women's voices. Like, don't pay attention to your gifts, pay attention to looking pretty. You know, don't pay attention to your gifts, pay attention to how bad you should feel about your body right now. Don't pay attention to your gifts, pay attention to your man's gifts and help him. And I think a lot of women right now, at this moment in history, thanks to the good work of the first and second wave and third wave of feminism, are coming into this flow that really has been a birthright that we've been denied for generations, which is moving forward and using our gifts and leaving our mark on the world and making the world a better place for it, which is an intuitive emotional process as well as a like output process. And that's a curse breaking thing because a lot of women of past generations have had gifts that they have not been able to put out as powerfully as we in this generation are able to. So I'm going to affirm for you, maybe this is just motivational. What you need to know to finish your book is that it's bigger than you and it's part of this beautiful legacy you're leaving. And doing so is modeling for those close to you what it looks like to be a woman in your power, to be, as you like to say, a crone on a throne, to be a woman in your power, like owning your gifts and powerfully putting them out there and knowing that that is creating positive change in the world. Show some emotional appreciation for yourself as you go through this, please. Like, don't allow yourself to drag down into a productivity maze. You know what I mean? Feel appreciative and remember that that's the why, right? Like, you're sharing your gifts, you're creating something special that wasn't there before, which you know will help others. That's what motivated you to do this. I know you are a spiritually motivated individual. So stay with that. I even recommend perhaps taking time out of the productivity haze to put a gratitude list on yourself, to put some time reflecting on like how good you are at this and how capable you are and how this gift will affect others. How, when this book arrives in its completion, it will actively change lives. Think about the lives you're changing with the work, and that might make the work a lot easier to just get done. I so needed to hear this. Good. That's what the tarot should be for. Those are the moments I want to teach. Those are the moments, like when I teach tarot, it's not just like, what does the King of Swords mean? It's like, it's the moments that make us go like, yeah, okay, I'm good now. Like I'm ready to make the choice. I'm ready to go in my power. I'm ready to whatever. I'm in my power now. Those are the moments that I think we're meant to facilitate as tarot readers. That's what I want to teach. Oh, so Patty Bell's book, The Sprint Handbook, a step-by-step guide to running innovation sprints. This is so beautiful. Also, as someone who used to work in tech and, whew, knock on wood, thank God I'm done. I'm never going back to working in tech for a long time. However, and by a long time, I mean ever. However, we used we would work in sprints, which for those who are outside of it, like a sprint is like a brief time period where you commit to like I'm getting a few things done. And it was really easy to do on the tech side and very hard to do on the creative side because the creative process feels a little more nebulous than like the technical process, like build a code that does this thing, right? That's very specific. Um so I feel like your voice is so needed on this, Patty Bell, just from my like professional and personal experience. What does it look like to run a sprint like this and have a focus on innovation that's meaningful? That's wonderful. Women in tech unite. Or I don't know, recovering women in tech. That's me. um oh man. Man does the tech industry need to be unionized. That's all I'll say. Need to be unionized, need to heal, like, need some friggin' empowerment circles. That's my feeling. Nebulous, such a wonderful word. It is a wonderful word. Let me know if I can pull a card for you. If no pressure, of course. Sometimes people just come on, they just want to hear and don't want a card, and I respect that. Grayson, I'm pulling a card for you now. Your question is, how can I get motivated to exercise more? I'm assuming, also because I know you, um, I'm assuming you've had some, you already have the buy-in of feeling like this is good for you, and want to just make it a thing that you can like build on and continue to build on. Um, I always take questions. I say this because I always take questions about like things like exercise and nutrition and stuff with a grain of salt because there's just so much like ugly noise making people hate on themselves and their bodies in this culture. And I know you, Grayson, and I know like that your focus on health is like a very mindful one. So anyway, just putting that out there. Because I have had people say like, what can I do to lose weight? And I'm like, I am not the tarot reader. And of course, Grayson didn't say lose weight. They said exercise, which is usually a good choice. Movement's always a good choice for our health. Anyway, sorry for my little tangent. How can I get motivated to exercise more? We have Justice. And this is fun. Now you can see, because I was saying earlier how the High Priestess and Justice were related. We see that there's a similar, like almost backdrop here, right? These two pillars. We see yellow and purple pillars. And the figure is in between the two. And these two like pillars really represent like truth and wisdom. In other words, like what is correct, what is factually true, what is logical if you're a Vulcan, and wisdom. What do we do with that truth to make it meaningful, right? Not just like what did we read in the book, but how do we connect the dots and make powerful choices? And justice is grounded in both things, in truth and wisdom, bothy. And you'll notice Justice is holding, I believe there's a sword like stuck into the ground on one side and also a scale on the other side. So there's a sense of balancing and rebalancing the scales. And specifically for you, Grayson, connecting it to your sense of justice might be powerful. I talked earlier, I forget to whom, about creating justice for yourself. What does that look like? Many of us, especially many of the people in my community anyway, I tend to attract people like this, and I'm really glad, are concerned with justice for the wider world, are concerned with making the world a more just place. And I know that you are one of those people. And a message I have been getting repeatedly over the last few years is that we need to step into the role of also creating justice for ourselves at a micro level in our own lives, that it doesn't serve us to selflessly wear ourselves out for causes of justice, big and small, and in so doing shortchange ourselves. You know what I mean? In so doing shortchange our own self-care. It doesn't serve anyone to not take care of ourselves, right? Actually, we can be more effective agents in the world creating positive change if we take excellent care of ourselves, because then we're able to bring our whole selves, not our depleted self, to it. Anyway, what would it look like to you, like thought exercise, like what would it look like to you to lean into, and this is like a lean in placement, we see this is like a sideways justice, to lean into the idea of exercise as a form of self-justice. Meaning, this isn't something you're like pushing yourself to do. This is a way that you care deeply for yourself even though it is at times hard and hard to stay motivated, but it's a form of justice. It's a form of justice for yourself, of giving yourself this repeated action that you know will have small and lasting effects, right? Like that's how any kind of habit like exercise is that you get the gains that you want over time by showing up consistently. And this is a way you can create justice for yourself, probably not just in your health life, but also probably in your mental and emotional sphere, by showing yourself, yes, I can do this for myself. Yes, I can give myself the gift of consistency. It doesn't need to be, externally motivated with a carrot on a stick. Yes, I can give myself this gift. So what would that look like to you? What would it look like to pursue exercise, to pursue this type of physical self-care as a personal pursuit of justice? I'm just going to let you marinate on that. Ooh, I just want to share too what Savannah has to say. Motivation isn't the answer for movement, it's systems. I want to tell you I generally very much agree with that. I also think that sometimes it's healthy for us to be like, I also need motivation, right? Rather than slogging through a system, bothy. But yes, like I think a lot of people probably, what is it, January 28th? A lot of people are noticing this right now. Oh, the New Year's resolution I had to go to the gym every day or work out every day or whatever. Um, I'm losing the fresh year motivation at this point. Like now is when the rubber hits the road and a lot of people drop off the map on their goals because motivation can't carry you through indefinitely, because we get a cup of motivation every day. Like let's frame it that way. Like every day we have a cup of motivation. We could spend it on whatever we want. And some days we don't have a full cup of motivation because we overdid it yesterday, right? If you've ever like woken up like the day after a big project got finished and you gave your all and you wake up and you still feel exhausted, right? You don't have a full cup of motivation. You're lucky if you've got any in there. Those are days when you need to replenish yourself rather than try to use your motivation. Um, and on a normal day, we might wake up with a full cup of motivation, right? We might wake up and say, okay, here's what I like. I'm inspired today. And then life happens, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic. You have to have motivation just not to get out of your car and yell at that person. Whoop, a little more from your cup. And then you get some bad news and you find out that you have to adjust to it and you have to like do something about that. And then someone's kind of a jerk to you in a meeting at work. And then you have to have the motivation to like power through that meeting without lowering yourselves to that level. And then you're like, okay, time to do the thing I promised myself I would do, and but your motivation cup is empty now. And it's just life that did it, and that happens. And so yes, systems save us. I agree. I agree with you, Savannah. Like setting up our life so these things just happen and don't require us to draw from our motivation cup, which is at varying levels because that's normal and part of the human experience. I agree. Systems are where it's at. All right, friends, it's 12:02. I think I've gotten everyone's question. I'm gonna do a quick look-see at my Patreon and make sure that no other patrons requested cards because I posted about this a little while ago and I want to make sure I don't have any comments. Okay, no, I think I got to everybody. All right, that brings us to a close on the Witchy Weather Report. If you are interested in doing this, like whether it's for yourself or for other people, but if you're interested in having these kind of creating these experiences in your life where the card that comes up in the tarot is so much more than the meaning of the book, where it becomes a really special conversation that allows you to see your life more clearly and empower your choices and feel like you are more empowered in your life rather than less. That is what I teach when I teach tarot. If you're interested, I'm going to put the URL in the chat one more time. It's tinyurl.com Keys to the Kingdom Tarot. If you're on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio for that. We're starting in about a week on February 3rd. Again, though, like replays are like, you get like lifetime access to replays and also a ton of reference materials that I'm creating that cannot be found anywhere else because they're not just about what's in the books. They're about my 20 years of experience as a reader and all the things that the books do not teach, which is plentiful. And I don't want you to have to learn them the hard way. I'm doing my best to help you grow into the best reader you can be, like with this course. So if you're interested in that, please feel free. If not, no harm, no foul. Like it's going to be right for some people and not right for other people, and that's all good. But I'm trying to follow through on a promise I made to myself to make my work visible. That's a thing I'm trying to do in my own little Queen of Staves journey. All right, friends. Remember to look within. That is the message of the Hermit. find your own light before taking external action at this time. It will be worth it, and it will make everything you do in the external world better. I will see you again soon. If you're a patron, we're doing our live broadcast of Sassafras Cast in 1 hour, so look in the Discord and look on the Patreon, because that's where I'll be posting the private YouTube link. Okay. Bye. Have a wonderful time looking within yourselves. Befriend yourselves. Bye.